Hello and welcome to Where You're Not Entertained. I'm Daniel.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm James.
And we are going to be covering An American Pickle, which is the new Seth Rogen comedy-ish.
Wow, ish. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny movie, but there's parts in it that you're just like, wow, this is dark and sad.
Yeah, there's some dark moments.
It's dark and sad, and I don't feel like laughing anymore.
I thought it was very funny. I laughed quite a bit, and there are some moments that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, it's definitely a comedy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But there were those points where I was kind of like, wow.
Well,
the pain.
It's about building a great pickle empire, so it has to be funny, but there's definitely more of a moral to the story than I anticipated from a Seth Rogen comedy.
Yeah, there's like some undertones. They don't really dig deep on like giving a message per se, other than like, I don't know. The messaging is interesting because it poses a lot of questions, but it doesn't seem like it tries to hammer home an answer.
Right.
No, but it has a strong theme of family togetherness.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily funny. Like, that's not the comedy part of it.
Yeah,
it's kind of some of it.
It's a lot of the heart too, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm looking for. It has more of a heart, more of a warm feeling. I can't think of that.
It has a warm feeling when you hold it in your arms.
Yeah, it's that kind of comedy that isn't. A lot of comedies of this style are actually romantic comedies. One of the movies that kind of reminded me of a little in just the feel of the movie was Yesterday.
Interesting. Okay.
Just in the overall, it was more about a weird situation and a strange premise than it was per se a romance or kind of a deeper theme that it was trying to hit all the time. And it was about the wonkiness of the strange premise and all the things that ensue after that.
Yes. Well, there was a lot of wonkiness.
Yes.
It starts out with wonky.
So let's get into that a little bit. This is a movie about a dude who falls in a pickle vat.
Yeah.
And is preserved for 100 years, like Rip Van Winkle or something.
Right.
There's a huge splash, and they just clap the lid on top of him.
As soon as he falls in, he's trapped in.
It's like they just, oh no, we didn't really see that happen. It's condemned. Who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a short film as well. I didn't realize how short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it hits the ground running for sure. But it doesn't cover a very large time span, which is good. I don't mind a short film.
It covers 100 years. It just jumps
film.
there real quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like the first 3 minutes it takes to actually get to modern day.
No, it's a little longer than that, but yeah. It kind of starts off with how he's currently living, which is tough. It's the hard knock life when you have to dig ditches with your hands because your wooden shovels keep breaking.
Yeah.
Which is whoa.
One of the underlying themes to this movie that I felt like was throughout was kind of about grit and about how, the people in the past rolled up their sleeves and got things done.
Right.
Determination was the most valuable weapon in their mental arsenal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It was definitely about perseverance for the first half of it.
It was pretty much about perseverance all the way through. He figured out a way to get someone else deported because he wanted to stay.
I don't know that that's perseverance. I think that that's just straight trickery, but okay.
It's determination.
He wasn't determined. He was angry because his relative, his great-great-grandson, screwed him over.
Like hard.
So he knocked him out.
Did.
Stole his outfit.
He was just determined to ruin his life in return. But I like they went so stereotypical with Eastern Europe that they didn't even pick a country. They just made up their own.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because this is so stereotypical and so negative. We can't pin this on any one country in particular.
Somebody's going to get mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was...
Which kind of speaks to the latter half of the movie as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where the movie itself kind of takes on its... what was the name of the app again?
Boop Bop.
Boop Bop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Boop Bop. So the movie itself had to be Boop Bop approved.
They did take everything that's hipster and terrible about Brooklyn and put it in this movie in a very funny way, because that is literally what it looks like.
Yeah. It was interesting, kind of the critique that they had on modern life with Ben's life and the challenges that he has. And then you have, the raw offensiveness of Harold, or was it
Herschel?
Herschel. That's Herschel. That's a great name. Herschel. The rawness and offensiveness of him from the past and how he's dealing with modern culture as well.
They spun that really nicely up until they started talking about religion.
Yeah.
He was going to survive that whole Twitter storm, but then
right,
just went one step too far.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. And goaded into it. I mean, he was set up once again.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Ben knew exactly which buttons to push to get the right response.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And it was funny that every time he tried to sabotage him, he just made the situation for himself worse until the very end, actually. Even after he owned up to everything that he had done. Because then he ended up getting himself deported.
Yeah. Man, it's a weird plot. It's fun, though.
It is very weird.
I like how they kind of set it up, too, in the beginning with the explanation for how the pickling worked.
You mean
from that point on? Yeah, from that point on, I was like, okay, you can pretty much do whatever you want now. I have taken all of my disbelief and carefully suspended it outside of the window. It will not be in the house for this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't remember exactly how they said it, but they basically do a voiceover where they're like, the scientists, explained it, and everybody was totally satisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was about it.
Yeah, it was not requiring any detail to explain how or why it happened. It was just, and the scientists explained it in scientific terms, and everybody was like, yeah.
I also think that they knew that if that was going to be the hang up for you, that you weren't going to finish the movie. So let's get that out of the way first thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, somebody being pickled for 100 years and actually surviving is like, come on.
Yeah.
It's the whole premise behind the whole thing is already farcical. So anything you do from here.
Whatever. He's basically Captain America in pickles.
Oh my God. I never thought about that.
Except there's no like clever ruse behind it. He was pickled. And then he comes back as the great American hero.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. He wasn't frozen. He wasn't frozen trying to protect the world or the country, I guess.
And I think hero's questionable.
I think very questionable.
I definitely feel Herschel was less bad than Ben, but Herschel's got some things he needs to work out as well.
Yeah, he might need to kind of catch up with the times a little bit.
Well, he's got some old world values, and he never had a chance to update them, for sure. But I definitely enjoy the way he got all those interns.
Yeah.
Slave labor? No.
No.
Yeah. And that's so typical New York.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, what kind of intern needs life experience pickling? But man, they sure line up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize there were that many people who are interested in getting into the pickle game.
I think it's because college kids will do any internship they can get their hands on.
Thanks for the college credit.
Yeah. I do want to go ahead and touch on the fact that pretty much this entire movie was carried by Seth.
Yeah.
Really? The guy that played both main characters?
Well, of course, but there was a surprising lack of third characters, of supporting characters.
Yeah, no, there wasn't a lot of them. You had bits and pieces.
Yeah, you had Herschel's wife, Sarah. You had the intern, Clara, and then a handful of others. And then you had the two hipsters. What were they on the street, the ones who discovered him?
Yeah, exactly. The couple. And then you had the investor.
Yeah, the venture capitalist. Yeah.
That was about it.
That was the lady at the bar. You have the bar lady. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was really like everybody else's extras. Pretty much.
Just a bunch of people to eat pickles.
And I think that he did a great job. I was really impressed with Seth Rogen's performance in this because I didn't feel like either of them were the core Seth Rogen that you're used to in a lot of movies. I think a 40-year-old virgin and the role he plays in that seems to be very similar to a lot of the other roles that he's played since then when he's kind of typecasted.
Yeah.
And while Ben had a little bit of that, there was a lot more, anxiety and tension than you usually get from his character. He usually plays the stoner. And then Herschel was totally different.
Right.
Yeah, Ben reminded me more of his character from The Long Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where he's obviously very competent, but he still has these hipster tendencies, but then a whole lot of that want to save the world kind of message he's had in some of his more recent films, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's likable.
I think so. Well, yeah. He usually is likable, even if you don't really care for like his comedy or whatever. He still seems to be a likable person in every movie he's in.
Yeah, he was great on Hot Ones too.
Yeah. I haven't I don't know that I've seen him on when do you know when that came out?
I don't remember which season it was.
Yeah. He was really likable on Riding in Cars with Comedians?
Yeah. Yeah, you see him in that and like
and
the extras and things like that.
Yeah.
Like
I don't remember if it was Ugly Delicious or one of David Chang's other Netflix shows, but there was one where him and David Chang get blasted and go eat all around town.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah. He seems like a fairly normal guy.
Seems like a normal guy.
For what he does. Yeah. But yeah, all around, I liked the film. It wasn't what I expected, but I still enjoyed it a lot.
It was exactly what I expected, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll buy that. You know what it kind of reminded me of? Like the whole feel of this movie kind of reminded me of no. It kind of reminded me of the first scene, the down in the military base in Pineapple Express. So like the very first scene that's all black and white.
Yeah.
Just the whole feel of that scene is like translated throughout this entire movie.
I mean, except for the experimentation. But yes.
Isn't he a walking, talking science experiment? Who else has been pickled for 100 years?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't intentional. Government's not testing pickling as a way to preserve people. Now there's a film.
Missed the bus on that one.
Get the guys who made The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Good Coen Brothers film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just how it felt to me. Maybe.
No, I get that. Yeah, I found there were some things that I thought were really interesting the way they did it. Like we kind of touched on earlier, the whole pickling scene.
Yeah.
Because it almost had a musical quality where everyone, stage performance quality where everyone's working in tandem to make events happen incredibly quickly in front of your eyes.
Yeah, I thought that too with the way they put the lid on and then walked off.
It was like a play.
Yeah, it felt like they were leaving the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot like that. It's very, very true. Huh.
Yeah, because that's what I noticed in the beginning, and I hadn't read anything about this film, and so I was like, so is this going to be one of those movies where they do everything like it's a play? But no, it was not.
It was not. No, just that. Not at all. Just that part.
Just that scene.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Yeah, it was kind of production design wise, or I guess I don't know if that's the right word for it, but the kind of, I guess, editing. It's not even that. It's just a strange movie, man.
It is.
Like, there's a lot of different pieces that seem like they wouldn't fit together, but they all kind of work. And I'm also curious whether I would have felt that way if I had paid $10 to go sit in a theater and watch it. Because this was picked up by HBO and released on HBO Max while they're trying to heavily promote their new streaming service or their upgraded streaming service.
Their upgraded streaming service that pauses in the middle of every movie I've ever watched.
And TV show.
It does too.
It's not very upgraded. Whatever.
There's a lot more movies than a regular HBO app used to have.
Yeah, that's very true.
So,
very true.
The Max is fitting.
It is. Yeah, the Max is fitting. I'm kind of curious about that myself. So I enjoyed this movie because I was relaxed and there wasn't like an investment in it per se, like monetarily, but also I hadn't spent the time to like go somewhere to watch it. You literally just sitting on the couch and you turn it on.
You didn't spend $12 on a Coke and popcorn.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this had that same kind of offbeat idea behind it, like Downsizing, but this got it right. Whereas for me, Downsizing got it wrong. It wasn't super charming or interesting. And so this was a premise that I think could have come across poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But they did a great job with it. The writing, the styling, and Seth Rogen's acting. All of that combined together to make this a very like personable sort of movie.
Yeah.
You like him and you're interested in his quest and I guess not quest, plight.
His plight. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And as much of a jerk as Ben is, you still don't want like to see him totally ruined. I mean, the fact that they're family, you want Herschel to have his one remaining family member in his life.
And especially with the character development they had at the end.
Mm-hmm.
With Herschel realizing where Boop Bop comes from.
Yeah.
So you learn that Ben's not such a jerk. He's just dealing with his family closeness in a different way.
Yeah.
Without punching people.
Yes. Wow.
Oh, terrible violence.
Oh, man.
My favorite lines.
Yeah.
I'll do terrible, very violence on you.
I will say that was the only thing. I thought his accent was really funny because it didn't take it too seriously. But the fact that he could say any word that started with a V except for vodka.
Yeah.
That was just a little like, oh, come on. One way or the other.
Nope. Have it both ways. Screw it.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's a movie about a dude who gets pickled. Let it go.
Yeah. It's fine. That's pretty much so. Anybody that wants to complain about this movie, that is my response. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that little oversight. It's about a guy that falls into a pickle vat and is alive 100 years later.
Yeah.
It's like what happened to Harley Quinn, except sexier.
Wait, what's sexier?
Yeah, right. I'm kind of curious about that.
Are you saying that this is sexier than the Harley Quinn thing? Because I disagree with you.
I would have to.
Yeah, totally. It's a big, hairy Jewish man that falls into a pickle vat. What's not better?
Fair enough.
To each their own.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be funny on this podcast.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're picking up the reins because I know it's not me. All right. Well, was there anything else? Any final thoughts you wanted to cover before we got into our favorite scenes?
I would just say that it was like I wasn't horribly impressed by this movie, but I wasn't disappointed in it at all. And I enjoyed it. So I was entertained.
Very much so in my case. It fulfilled exactly the promise that I felt like the trailer gave me. And I was excited to watch it when I saw the trailer. And I was happy I watched it afterwards.
I didn't even see the trailer, so
yeah.
Works for me.
Rachel?
What? Oh, no.
Like the movie.
Like cool. I already said, I was entertained.
Yeah.
I said that at the very beginning.
All
right. Jeez.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. What was your favorite scene, Daniel?
Jump into it.
Fall into it backward, being chased by rats.
No.
So my favorite scene was actually when he determined that he was going to create this pickle empire, and was going to do it not because he wanted to create a pickle business, but because he wanted to do it despite his only living relative.
Yeah.
To make him feel stupid so that he knows he's stupid.
Yeah.
And the hunt that he went through to find, even though it was against health department regulations, but the hunt that he went through to find and start up this business.
Okay. Yeah, it's my favorite scene too. It's the cart building montage.
Right.
Yep. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Great. It's great.
It makes every pickle somebody else eats so disgusting. Like it just is cringing every time. I cringe every time I see somebody eat one of the pickles because I'm like, I know where that came from.
Exactly. Toxic rainwater and pickles out of the trash and jars from who knows where and what they had in them.
Not cleaned out.
They weren't cleaned before the pickles went in them.
Yeah.
But that makes it even funnier when he's like, bring that jar back.
Yeah. I will find you.
I will find you and do great violence to you. Yes, exactly.
Great.
For me, it was when the rain finally came and the look of satisfaction on his face.
Yes.
That was the moment the movie was entirely sold to me. I was like, all right, yep, I love this.
Done.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, and I will add something else about this. I thought that the soundtrack behind the movie was really fitting.
They actually did a really good job with the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make it too old world necessarily. It was still, I liked it.
Yeah.
It had some golden oldies in there.
Yeah.
No,
that's also David Bowie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole poster of David Bowie.
All right, what about you, Rachel? What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is the seltzer water.
Oh, when they're making seltzer?
Yes, the way he pushes the button on that seltzer water machine is just really funny. It's just so satisfying because he finally gets that seltzer water and it's such a modern convenience. We don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was talking about being rich enough to afford a seltzer water.
To try it.
Yeah,
to try it. Yeah, your grandson has a whole seltzer water maker right there in the apartment.
Yeah,
anytime he wants.
Sure, craziness.
Yeah.
That was also a very cute scene. Like just the acclimating to the modern life.
Yeah, no, I love that scene.
Yeah.
That was a great scene.
Funny and wholesome.
Yeah,
it's great.
A great scene.
All right. Well, then I think that pretty much covers it for An American Pickle. Anything else you guys want to mention before we go?
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the movie as much as we did, and hopefully you also enjoyed this episode. If you did, please go online and like and subscribe, and join us next time on Were You Not Entertained?